We are at the Carpenter's cabin in Ohio today. It is set on 32 acres, a very private and wooded land. It feels like something out of a Harry Potter movie. And this is an eco-luxury cabin that is 4 stories tall. Yes, 4 stories. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go and start the tour. Welcome to this incredible 4-story eco-luxury cabin called the Carpenter's Cabin. This is by far one of the largest Airbnbs I've ever toured on the channel, so strap in for a very in-depth tour. We're going to cover every square inch of this place. We'll start first here on the front exterior. I love the dark black paint job and how that contrasts with the overall orange color scheme of this front deck. Those are 2 of my favorite colors, black and orange, and you don't see bright orange too often on the Airbnbs that I tour. But if we get a little closer now, you have this nice high-end grill out front, and just taken from this perspective, their overall footprint was pretty small throughout this land. Speaking of the land, we have 32 acres out here again, and some beautiful spots like how the sun sets right over the driveway at one point to create this moment. I was flying my drone all over the place, and the owners basically purchased their own mini forest out here. All of the land is very densely packed with trees, and I highly suggest a quick hike to explore all of the land that you're on. Now, in terms of exterior amenities, you have this huge fire pit right in front of the cabin with plenty of seating for the whole family. You can also roast up some hot dogs or something like that right over the fire. There's also a ton of string lights surrounding you, so this area gets really dreamy at night. But that's about it for everything on the front exterior. We'll see the backyard later in this video. Let's open up these main front doors and go inside. We have 4 entire floors to explore here in the interior, so let's get rolling. To kick off the interior tour, I'll take my camera and point it as high up as possible. These are some very tall ceilings, and this is actually just 3 of the floors that you see right now. There is another floor downstairs in the basement via that staircase on the right-hand side. But just to start with a brief overview, you have your beautiful sunken living room area as soon as you walk into the right. This is one of my favorite spots by far in the entire home. Now looking in the opposite direction, you have your kitchen and dining area. You have plenty of spots to enjoy all of your food between both the dining table and all of those chairs lined up against your large kitchen countertop. Let's now begin to go into more detail in this main room, starting first with the sunken living room area. And yes, this is indeed a drone shot. I had plenty of space in this main room, so I was able to fly around pretty freely, but please do not get the same idea if you end up staying here. I've done this many times, and I'm pretty experienced in flying my drone. Let's now walk down the little staircase and actually enter into the sunken living room area. And you have plenty of seating options here. This is just like the ultimate entertainment setup for a very epic family movie night. You have plenty of spaces for everybody to sit around for the whole gang, and lots of movies, DVDs, books, all that good stuff in that shelf in the top right hand corner. And yes, this is a smart TV fully loaded with Netflix and anything else that you may need. Time to exit this spot. We're now going to go to the other end of this main room. So I'm going to walk up our little mini sunken staircase. I'll take the camera and pan over to the right hand side. This will take us into your lovely dining table setup. You have 4 chairs around the table and also 2 additional benches, so you can kind of move everything around to whatever seating arrangements you desire. There's also some placeholders on top of the table and this cute little centerpiece in the middle with some flowers, mugs, and extra silverware. Now it's time to head into the kitchen. So we're going to take the drone and now walk into the kitchen area. This view here gives you a better idea of the layout of the kitchen there on the left. But starting first, you have these 4 chairs. They look pretty high-end, that they belong in some fancy restaurant or bar. This is just a great spot to get some work done. There's dozens of spots really to get work done throughout this cabin, but this was my spot, and the Wi-Fi was very fast here. Now at the end of the countertop area, you have a very generous gift basket waiting for you from the host. You have this really cool customized bottle that says Carpenter's Cabin and Stay Green, and some of the most delicious cookies I've ever had. Behind your massive kitchen countertop, you have some more cabinets with those fancy leather handles. There's also your dishwasher on this side. Opposite of that, you have more appliances, all black to fit that color scheme, like your stovetop, microwave, coffee maker, and then your fridge and freezer down here at the far end. Continuing on, right next to your fridge and freezer, you have this huge map. It shows the location of the cabin and some of the other local attractions. It's basically a way cooler version of Google Maps in the area. We'll finally leave this main room and go down this hallway to check out the other half of this ground floor. There are a lot of doors down this hall. We'll go through the door on the far right and come into the bunk beds room. A lot of bunk beds, I feel, just look cheap and they're just meant to add in some extra guests to the Airbnb. This room was done right. All of the gorgeous wood finishing throughout and that really eye-catching and also comfortable leather chair that I was relaxing in with some of the magazines next to me. They even included a nice luggage rack here along this wall and some hangers and extra closet space if needed for the kiddos. Back in the same hallway, we're now going to enter into this room, which is one of the larger bedrooms. Guys, I have to mention all of these sheets and linens in this cabin are top of the line. They have organic bamboo sheets and French linen duvet covers and shams. It was absolutely heavenly to sleep in this bed. It was so comfortable. Next to the bed, you have an additional chair and a bunch of extra blankets if you get cold at night. At the end of the bed, you have a mirror and a stunning wooden shelf, which really makes you feel like you are deep in the woods. Looking to the left now, you have a luggage rack, but let's turn our attention to the large sliding glass door. So if I begin to pull back the door and head outside, you have actually your own private deck out here, which includes 2 chairs and this little table. I'll focus more on the backyard a little later in the video, so don't go anywhere. We have one door left in this hallway, so I'm going to open it up, and this will take us into the main bathroom on the ground floor. You have some double sink action here with 2 mirrors that go practically all the way to the ceiling. If I now pan further over to the right, you'll see your toilet, and they also even managed to squeeze in a washer and dryer unit here in this cabin. I think that's especially helpful because you're going to be here probably with a large group or your family, so if you need to do laundry, that is an option. Finally, in this bathroom, you have a simple white bathtub and those long light blue tiles. This is really a fully stacked bathroom between your bathtub, the washer and dryer unit, and your 2 sinks. We have completed the ground floor, so next to the sunken living room area, I'm going to begin to walk up this long staircase to check out the 2 top floors. This will take us first into this little entry area on the new floor. They managed to tuck a bed into that corner, and opposite of that is a desk with a chair that looks a bit like a mushroom. There are a ton of reading options though waiting for you on that tall bookshelf. Even if you choose not to sleep in this bed, this is still a really cozy area to curl up with a book. Getting closer now, you have some pretty paintings, plenty of pillows and cushions, and there's a nice little reading light there next to the bed. This is one of my favorite spots, definitely great for the kids again as well. Going up the ladder now, this will take us to the tippy top floor. This is as high up as it gets in this cabin, and you'll find this really neat swinging mattress. It's very snug and you have extra pillows, those string lights, and the wallpaper back there. Not really sure what I'm doing with my hands here. And you have this sweet bird's eye view looking back down into the main room. You can tell really just how massive this cabin is from this angle. We'll venture down this hall. You have this little coffee bar or mini kitchenette on the left-hand side. This is inside what I would call the master suite. You have a little fridge here, a nice microwave, and a coffee maker, so you don't have to go all the way down to the kitchen for your morning cup of coffee. Straight across from a little kitchenette, we are now in the master bathroom. If you've been watching the channel for long enough, then you know I'm a sucker for anything that is modern and black, so obviously I was a huge fan of the shower, especially those small, beautiful black tiles. Next to the shower, a bit more of a boho design style, I think, especially I love that sink. The actual sink itself just looks like a huge bowl, and you can find a bunch of other decorations hanging above the toilet. This is a really well done bathroom. After the master bathroom, we're going to walk on through this door and enter into the master bedroom. You have this large queen size mattress here and those gorgeous vertical wood panels behind the bed. To the left of the mattress, you have a large mirror, a stool, and if you look up, you have these two really cool hanging lighting fixtures. One is even higher than the other, so I think it looks really unique and eye-catching. On the right side of the room, you have an additional stool, luggage rack, and a really colorful dresser. But one of my favorite features is this incredibly comfortable leather chair. I was able to stretch out completely while sitting on it, and it has some nice reading materials right next to you. Finishing up in the actual bedroom, we'll now look to the right through those large glass doors. We'll come out to your screened in porch. This is a really amazing area. If you look up, they even have a fan out here if it gets to be too hot. And of course, the fun part is those two swinging hammocks. You have a couple other seating options as well. This is a great area just to come out and relax, maybe do some yoga or get a quick workout in. And this is where I definitely hung out later in the day with my cup of tea when I was finishing up the shoot. Time to check out the final floor in this home. Yes, we still have one more floor to go. So right next to the sunken living room area, we're gonna walk down the staircase and welcome now, ladies and gentlemen, to the basement. We'll first come across this gigantic wraparound couch. This area gives me a bit of an old school or retro vibe to it, which I really enjoyed. And you can have two separate family movie nights if you'd like, because there's another smart TV down here. I think it's even larger than the one upstairs. Continuing on, there's a door behind the couch. This leads into another full bathroom. There are 3 bathrooms total in this cabin, one on each floor, which I think is super convenient. This one down here in the basement has a similar design aesthetic to the 2 other bathrooms we've seen. For the final room in the interior, we'll head through this door into another bunk beds room for the kiddos. Down below, you can see 2 beanbag chairs and a bunch of string lights. This is one of the most unique layouts for a bunk bed I've ever seen before. I honestly kind of want to sleep in this room myself. To conclude our tour, we'll walk out these double doors into the backyard area. You'll first come across this little sitting area with 2 cute chairs and some pillows on top of them. Right behind it then, you can find this lovely hammock. You can never go wrong with a hammock at an Airbnb, in my opinion, especially when you're deep in the woods. To give a better idea of the layouts, I'm now going to exit the sitting area and walk up these stairs and eventually come back to that outdoor deck that we saw earlier. This is the one directly attached to that large bedroom on the main floor. Now taking the drone, you can see the screened porch from this angle, and directly below it is the deck that we just saw. Last but certainly not least, if we take a step back further and pan down, you'll see that there is a huge hot tub waiting for you here at the end of your deck. And if we come back a little later in the day when it's darker out, you can see all of the lights turned on and the string lights. They are strung out pretty far into the woods to create this very magical setting. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all very soon for a brand new Airbnb tour.